Hi everyone, good afternoon. I'm just gonna wait 1 second here, make sure I'm connected here. Welcome. This is our Be Well Live Ask a Trainer Tuesday. I'm gonna be joined by Chris from King here shortly. I'm gonna let him in.
Mike,
Hey, how's it going?
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everyone. Hopefully it's a better one. And we're here for our first Ask a Trainer Tuesday of 2021 for our winter semester. So for those of you that are new students, welcome, and welcome back our returning students who have been participating in our recreation events, workshops, daily lives. We're going to be continuing along the same kind of path and maybe get a little bit more in depth in some of our categories. So my name is Mike. I'm a sport coordinator here in Athletics and Recreation, joined by Chris, who's also a coordinator for King Campus. And we're going to be talking to you today about intensity techniques for body weight exercises, which is appropriate for our given situation, not having full access to fitness facilities,
Absolutely.
and trying to get creative with minimal to no equipment that you have in your home, which is pretty much what I have, unfortunately, but trying to get creative. And so we're going to kind of give you some tips from both of our perspectives as to maybe how you can approach it, besides just doing more repetitions and different methods and techniques that you can do to spice up your at-home workouts. So what are some of the things that you like to do? I know that you've obviously done a few of our videos regarding some household items like bed sheets and kind of
Right.
really creative things like that. Is there anything that maybe you can touch on that if you didn't? Now, most people have bed sheets, but let's just say they have nothing or next
Yeah.
to nothing. What would your first approach be?
Like Mike said, doing a certain amount of, once you're past that 15, 20 rep range, at least for muscle building, strength training, you're not going to get any benefits as far as, outside of the endurance realm of hitting reps that high. So you're going to have to change things up to make it a bit more challenging. And there's lots of things you can do. Right now, I do have some weight at home, but a lot of my training is body weight based. If I'm being too lazy to lug it, equipment from the shed out, I'll do some
Right.
body weight stuff. So a couple of things that I've kind of tweaked as I've gone. I mean, it's almost a year now since we've been out of the gyms, right? So, but there is a lot of effective stuff that you can do at home. One of my favorites is just increasing the time under tension
Yeah.
for a
Okay.
lot of the movements. And you can do that through either increasing the range of motion. So something like a push up, you're pretty limited as far as how deep you can go into that range of motion because your chest is ultimately going to hit the ground. But
Right.
if you do those push ups off of a couple textbooks, off of dumbbells,
Right. Right.
anything that's going to raise your hands up a bit will allow you to go deeper into that push up.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so that's one I like to use. I also like to use either a pause at the beginning, at the end, or mid range of motion.
Yeah.
That helps us it really helps with strength, more so than hypertrophy, but that's a good one to throw in there too. So for a push up, what you would do is pause halfway between the start and the end range of motion, pause it, and then complete your rep.
Nice.
You could also throw the pause in at the bottom of the rep, so you can do your push up, sit at the bottom, have a count of like 2 to 3 seconds, and then
Right.
press up as fast as you can. So those are the ones that I like to implement the most. How about yourself?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they're kind of all related, and you have to kind of sit back and before you start your workout as to what the plan is, right? So, you had mentioned, time under tension. So, for a lot of you that don't even maybe know what that is, it's basically just manipulating the range of motion, like Chris was saying. So you can incorporate maybe eccentric and isometrics, which is basically kind of a held contraction, much like a plank or a wall sit or something like that, where the muscle isn't shortening or lengthening, it's kind of just tightening up. So I try to throw those in just to kind of push myself during a workout if I'm just doing a regular set of lunges or whatever the exercise is that you can incorporate that with. You kind of just pause in the middle or at the bottom and you feel that extra burn. So definitely that is for sure one thing that I would do. And then going back to what I was saying is maybe before you start working out the plan that you're going into it, that maybe you have a certain style of workout you're going to do, depending on the level of difficulty. So some plyometrics, which would be more kind of explosive power movements, like kind of squat jumps and split lunges and power push-ups and things like that, was much like the time under tension, but with more explosiveness to it, which is more high intensity training. So those don't require any equipment whatsoever. You don't need an extra load to do that. Those are just ways to get that recruitment in excess to make it more challenging. So hi guys, welcome you for joining in. So that's one thing I do, and then the second thing is maybe trying to incorporate different planes of movement. So instead of just up and down, is to maybe do lateral movements, things that require balance and coordination, like functional style training that can make it difficult just on its own. But those are definitely some things for sure. Do you have any kind of favorite exercises that you do body weight, that any additional ones that people could maybe try?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty creative these days, right? I just want to kind of touch on something. A lot of people, so plyometrics are great, but you really have to do them with intention. A lot of people, they'll program them in, not really focusing on the quality of the movement, and that's kind of the key. Is you shouldn't be able to do more than 15, 20 jumping lunges if you're doing them correctly, right? Actually focusing on the force production, not just lazily going through them. It's not a means to an end. It's you really have to do it with focus and intent. So I just want to kind of touch on that. Favorite, I think my favorite exercises right now. So I on Mondays I am doing that the Gains at Home program. And I really like the rows using the bed sheets.
Oh yeah.
So last night we had people, they had scarves, towels, so anything that's going to be long enough to use. But I really like doing like a drop set with like a wide grip row or pull up, and then working on the upper back and traps and go even a bit wider. So you do 5 to 10 reps doing almost like an inverted row. And then just bringing the elbows up a bit higher, working on those smaller muscles and isolating them up a bit more. But the push-ups, another one I'll do. It's a mechanical drop set, so you do plyo push-ups again, like really focusing on getting as high as you can off the ground, absorbing that weight, and slowly coming down in controlled fashion. So if you can do more than like 5 of those with proper technique, you're in a pretty good spot. A lot of people just kind of rush through them. So take your time through them. So I'll do like 5 to 8 of those, and then immediately go into a standard push-up and do 5 to 8 of those, and then I'll drop to my knees and do a modified push-up and do another 5 to 8 of those. So that's a nice hypertrophy set that I'll throw in there. With a little bit of strength focus as well. Those are my top 2 right now. Doing a lot of Nordic raises. Sticking my legs under anything that I can fit my feet under, and you're just basically raising your upper body off the floor, using your hamstrings and glutes. Lots of pistol squats, Bulgarian split squats, plyometric Bulgarian split squats. So there's a lot of stuff you can get into that you're ultimately gonna run out of exercises, right? So it's good to have kind of a library to go through, and then schedule them appropriately, right? Like you don't want to just jump in and throw plyometrics in there. If you can't
Yep.
do a standard push-up, there's no sense in getting dangerous and trying to do plyo push-ups, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So like you were saying earlier about obviously you shouldn't be able to do so many repetitions, right? And kind of one of the first things we had said was obviously your first go-to when you think, how can I make this harder? Usually you're either going to say more repetitions or a heavier load. Those are the two things that are going to increase intensity. Now, but we're talking without weights or without any added equipment. So you have to dissect the exercise itself without changing the amount of repetitions or the load by how to make it more difficult. And it's obviously requires you going into a different position, manipulating the movement. You had already said time under tension, doing kind of negatives or isometrics, held positions. These are kind of the more creative thing that we were referring to as opposed to just kind of doing 100 of them, right? So, it's definitely quality over quantity for sure. And then myself, I would just suggest any total body movements. So typically anything that is total body over a single joint exercise is going to increase your heart rate more, burning more calories, and then as well as just overall intensity is there. So one of the exercises I like to do is kind of like an inchworm to a push-up. So where you kind of crawl your way backwards, where you get the hamstrings tightened up, and then walk my way forward into a push-up, and then from there I can go into some mountain climbers or Spider-Man walks or whatever, right? You just kind of have to have fun with it, and then you learn as you go, and you'll go, hey, I can kind of throw that in the mix, and now you have 4 exercises in one. And then, like you said, you're usually only doing about 5 or 6 of those, and you're pretty gassed. So don't think of it that you have to do 100 repetitions, or you have to wear, a bag with bricks in it. Not necessarily, right? Those are obviously good ideas, but we're thinking body weight here. So those are my suggestions. And then as well as maybe just the type of workout you're doing, which we're actually going to be talking about in a couple of weeks, which is kind of continuous training versus kind of interval training, which I'm not going to get into because that'll give away our next kind of discussion. But that is also a way to maybe change up the intensity as opposed to kind of straight sets and repetitions. So, so those are my thoughts. Do you have any other additional tips for anyone for body weight training intensity?
Yeah, I think increasing your frequency. So obviously, if you're at home, if you're training at home right now, you're not going to be able to put your body under enough stress. To need those huge 48, 72 hours in between. So by all means, I would say increase your frequency. So if I would say do a full body program 3 to 4 days a week, or upper body, lower body.
Right.
There's going to be no need to isolate all your bis and tris, back and chest workouts like that. I would say the name of the game right now would be higher frequency, 3 to 4 days a week, full body days. Like I said, you're going to be able to reap the benefits of having higher frequency, and you won't need that recovery in between because you're not throwing a bunch of exercises and different machines and you're pretty limited, so you can bump up the frequency, and you're going to be able to train Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You're not going to be so sore that, unless you're just starting out, right? This is for people that are maybe past the push-ups and the bodyweight squats and stuff. Right. But I would say that's try maybe maybe 4, maybe a cycle of higher frequency, and then go from there. I think it's a good way to increase the intensity as well. Yeah, for sure. No, these are all good ideas, and it's obviously subjective to what you guys enjoy, and the whole point is you want to enjoy it. So try to find some exercises that can challenge yourself without, like you said, making it an hour-and-a-half workout. Try to do, like a 30-minute session. I would recommend, if you haven't already been following some of our fitness classes, which are starting up again this week, because a lot of that requires minimal to no equipment. Some of your boot camp classes that you were doing obviously are very similar to that. And then I'll be starting a functional kind of training workout as well. I think I actually have one today at 2:30. So if you want to join in on that, you can. And you can kind of see what we're kind of talking about here is some of the exercises that require you to move in different directions and get yourself stuck in positions that maybe are a little bit more difficult, that you notice a difference.
So other than that, thanks for joining us today, and Chris for your insight and perspective on all these things that obviously you're expert in. And thanks everyone for tuning in. We're here every day at 12:15 with a different kind of theme every day. So welcome back, students, and I guess have a good rest of the week.
Awesome. Enjoy your class today, Mike.
Yep, will do. See you guys.
Take care.
All right.